Welcome back to the Samantha Show. I'm your host, Samantha. You can call me Sam. Just don't call me Sammy. Let me ask you a question. How do you stay motivated when it gets hard? What do you do? What do you say to yourself? What keeps you moving? How do you stay motivated when it gets hard? This question came up the other day. I was scrolling through Instagram and someone that I am connected with in the fitness industry put up a post with a little question that said, when the push gets hard, when the work gets hard in class, what keeps you going? And I was like, ooh, I love that question because I love working out. And when it gets really hard, I go internal, like mentally internal. When it goes hard in a workout, what's going to drive me? Can I go? Can I go 30 more seconds? And usually when I'm in a workout, when it gets really hard, what I tell myself over and over and over again is, if I can get through this push, I can do anything. That's literally what I tell myself when it gets really, really hard at the gym. And I tell myself, if I can do this, this is proof to myself that I can keep going through anything. And then I also remind myself that it's such a short moment in time. Like, it's such a small moment in my day. Like, when the work gets tough, when the final drive gets tough, when the last rep is super heavy, if I can get through this, I can do anything. And it's such a small moment in time. That's how I stay motivated at the gym. It's like, I'm not going to tap out. I'm not going to tap out. I'm not going to tap out over and over and over again. So that really helps me get through. So I loved that. My friend here, she posted this question. She said, well, how do you stay motivated when it gets hard? Because I got to think about how I stay motivated in the gym, because I love that moment, those intense moments. But then I was thinking, how do we stay motivated when life gets hard? How do we stay motivated when we set out to manifest something, to reach our goal, and then we don't reach it? This is considered Manifesting 102 episode. This is part 2. This is lesson number 2 when it comes to manifesting. What happens when you don't reach your goal? Damn, Samantha, I thought you said that if we manifest it, it will happen for real. Okay. Yes. So what's going wrong? What went wrong? What is happening when we don't reach our goals? And that's really what I want to break down today, because sometimes we're going to fall short. We're going to fail. Like, that is such a normal part of life. Setbacks are such a normal part of life. When you're in the gym and you're going as hard as you can and you don't want to tap out too soon, but your body's just done before that push, that drive is over, and you fall a little bit short. That's a normal part of life. And so I want to talk a little bit about how we pick up, how we face setbacks, how we assess when we're trying to manifest, we're trying to reach a goal, and we don't meet it. So as a reflection, and just to kind of reiterate what we talked about last week. So manifesting really is just this idea of setting really clear goals, believing that you can achieve these goals, and then starting to take tangible action and steps every single day, no matter how big or small, to make what it is you want a reality. So that's really what manifesting is. And so that means, because life is life, you're going to face setbacks. You're going to fall short. You're going to fail. And so what I want to talk about today is, when that happens, where do we go from here? How do we stay motivated? How do we redirect? How do we accept? Do we move on? What does that look like? So that's really what I want to kind of talk about here today. Manifesting 102. What happens when you don't meet the goal? And there have been so many times in my life where I haven't met the goal. You know, I'll talk all day. She'd talk all day about all the things she's achieved. But I'll also tell you, like, there's so many things that I haven't achieved as well. And there's been so many moments in my life where I feel like I was so sure that that was the path I was supposed to be on. I was so sure that that is the job that I wanted. I was so sure that that's where I was headed. And then life is like, nah. Or even myself, I'm like, nah, now that I'm on this path, I'm like, I don't think I want this for me anymore. But when we are working towards something, or we are on a path and we do feel like we really, really want it, but we're not seeing that progress, or we haven't achieved it, or we've been met with failure, best thing that you can do is start to assess the situation. What's going wrong here? What is not in alignment that preventing me from achieving what it is that I want? And the first thing that you want to look at here is, do you believe that you can? Do you believe that you deserve it? I talked about this last week. When it comes to achieving your goals, you have to actually believe on some level that you have what it takes, that you are worthy of what it is that you want. And if you have doubt around that, you need to dissect and understand that so that you can move forward and be in a place where you truly do believe that what you want, you deserve, and you can achieve. Now, I'm not saying it might be something that you could achieve right away. You may realize, oh, I want to be a doctor, but that means I'm going to have to go back to school. Well, can you go back to school? Yes. Do you think you could pass those tests? Yes. Do you think it's going to take you time? Yes. But could you do it? Yes, I could do that. Okay. So understanding and believing that you really can do something regardless of how long it may take you, but you have to believe that you have what it takes to achieve what it is that you want. And that's number one. And so just assessing and making sure that you do have that support for yourself, that confidence to pursue the goals that you want to achieve. So then if you say, okay, yeah, no, I believe in myself. I believe I can be successful. I believe I can be successful. I do believe that. Okay, great. Are you specific in what you want? So once you kind of say, okay, yeah, I do believe in that I can achieve my goals. I believe I can go after things. I believe I'm capable of so much. Have you been clear with yourself about what it is that you want? Because if the goal is not clear, then you may have trouble getting to that because you don't know what it is. You don't know what it is at the end. I'm a little bit, I've been in that phase a little bit in my life right now. I don't know what I'm doing. No, I have some very clear goals, obviously. But there are definitely some other goals for me that my vision is lacking a little bit. My career right now, to be completely transparent and honest, I'm not 100% positive where I want to go with my career, what I want to spend time doing. I thought I knew. I really thought I knew. And we're going to talk about how things change and past change, but now I'm not so sure. So, until I can get more clear on really where it is that I want to be, I'm probably not going to make a ton of progress towards that because I don't really know what I should be doing, right? I don't know what small actions or steps I need to be taking because I don't know what it is that I really want. So being really, really clear in what you want will help you to start to take the steps and the actions to be there. So assess, are you clear? Do you actually know what it is that you want, what you're working toward? Then the last thing that you can assess, if you're really, you got a clear vision, you do believe that you can, are your daily actions aligning with what it is that you say that you want? Are you actually taking the steps? We talked about this too, that you have to be taking action. You can't say that you want something. You can't say that you're on this journey. You can't say you want to manifest this and do nothing. You have to still do something. You have to take action. And those actions, however big or small, should be aligning with the path that you want to walk, what it is that you want to achieve. So assessing your day-to-day habits, are they aligning with what it is that you want? Are they getting you closer toward that goal? Once you kind of assess these three things, you could potentially, just after doing that, get yourself back on track and start to make the changes necessary in your life to say, no, I do really want this goal. This is what it is. I do believe that I can do it. And these are the actions that I'm going to take each day to get closer toward that goal and achieving and manifesting all my dreams. But here's the truth too. Sometimes the vision is clear, the belief, the confidence in yourself is clear, the actions are being put into place, you're taking steps each day, but you still face setbacks because that's life. That's life, right? Setbacks, hurdles, all of these things is just a part of pursuing any goal, walking any path, existing every single day. And it's okay in your journey to experience moments of disappointment. You will hear me preach up and down the idea of gratitude, the idea of feeling joy, the idea of bringing happiness and play and fun into as many situations as possible. Absolutely. But also acknowledging and recognizing and giving yourself permission to feel disappointment at times. I shared in my podcast episode, If You Quit When You're Told No, the disappointment that I felt when I saw other people getting promoted to this master instructor job before I did. The level of sadness and disappointment that I felt that was so great that I was almost willing to just give up at that point in time. So acknowledging that disappointment, setbacks, that's such a real part of working toward any goal. It's not smooth sailing. But when we face these setbacks and we face these moments of disappointment, what we can do is allow ourselves to feel that, but then how can we learn from it? And this is where having a growth mindset is so important when it comes to falling short, feeling like you've failed, feeling that disappointment. The growth mindset is what will ultimately help you achieve that goal. Take something from it, a learning opportunity, and apply it to make progress once I get up and I get going again. Every single failure truly gives us an opportunity to learn. That is the growth mindset. When you have a growth mindset, you truly believe that skills can be learned, developed, and improved upon. So it's not giving up. It's not saying, okay, I really can't achieve this. It's just not in the cards for me. I don't have what it takes. Instead of kind of that negative mindset, it's recognizing that there is an opportunity to learn here, taking that opportunity and figuring out what it is you need to learn, what it is that you can do better, how can you apply this, and then getting back up and finding your resilience in the process, in the journey. So finding that resilience then, when you face the setbacks, when you realize the journey and the path is going to be longer than you anticipated, unfortunately, sometimes that's most of the time. That's most of the time. That resilience, that ability to keep going. It's like when I'm at the gym and I'm like, if you can get through this moment, you can get through anything. You can hang on a little longer. It's that resilience. It's that drive that makes people successful, not quitting when it gets tough, not quitting when we feel the setback, but instead learning, adapting, applying that growth and continuing on the journey. That's where it gets tough. That's where it gets hard. That's where people don't reach their goals. And that's where you see few people find success, huge, wild success, because too many people tap out too soon. Enjoy the journey. I talk about enjoying the journey as much as I talk about gratitude. Life is the journey. If you don't love the work, if you don't love the process, you're probably never going to reach your goal, because that's what's going to keep you going. I'm not saying that you have to love every single piece of it, but you should enjoy many parts of the journey, because that is what it's all about. Because when you get to that end goal and you reach that destination, sure, there may be some good things that come from it, but like, this is today, this is now, this is your life that you have to love throughout this process as you get there. And it's what will keep you going when it does get hard, when you do face setbacks. Learning to love each day, finding gratitude in each day. I worked with a couple of test clients working on rolling out my confidence coaching business, and I tasked a couple of them with this idea of a gratitude journal. It's so cliche, right? No, but it works. Like at the end of every day, even if it's a bad day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Keep this daily practice so that you can learn to appreciate the journey. You can learn to see the greatness in each day, however big, however small. But keeping a gratitude journal can be a great way to force yourself to kind of see how amazing life really, truly is. I don't want to beat to death the gratitude thing, because I did that on the last episode, but that really is what you got to do to keep going. You got to enjoy the journey. You got to find the gratitude each day. You got to have that growth mindset. You got to be willing to learn and adapt and change and keep yourself going when it gets tough. And finally, be okay with the path changing. So I brought this up at the beginning. Be okay with unexpected outcomes. Sometimes the plan is greater than we understand. Sometimes we don't reach our goal because something greater is coming. I'm trying to lean into this a little bit. I shared this a little bit on my Instagram story, but my cycle bar closed a couple months ago, and ever since that happened, I keep telling myself, trust the doors that close, trust the doors that close, because that really shook up my life in a big way, and it changed a lot of paths, and it caused me to have a lot of doubt. It caused me to feel disappointment. It caused me to face setback. What do I do now? There was one day I was having a particularly tough day where I was like screaming at God, the universe, and I was like, what happens next? what is going on? Like, what does this mean? Like, what am I supposed to do now? I thought I knew what my path was. I thought I knew how things were going to go. And so really trusting that the outcome and where the universe is taking you, where God's taking you, however you look at that spiritually, but finding some level of trust in something greater than you can allow you to get excited and feel acceptance and for something that you may not even realize is coming your way. Being willing to flex, being willing to adapt, being willing to continue to find that gratitude to say, okay, let's go on this journey can allow you to maintain a healthy, happy mindset despite setbacks and despite moments of sadness and things like that. But saying, hey, I'm trusting that although this didn't work out, that although this path is changing, I believe something great is still coming my way. And because this path took me towards something anyway, being flexible, adapting, saying, I learned so much in this journey that now I'm going to apply into this other path, into this other journey. So really knowing that all time spent toward any goal or walking down any path is not time wasted. But if a door closes or a path ends unexpectedly and you truly can't walk that path anymore for one reason or another, realizing that there's a bigger plan for you. There's a different plan for you. Being flexible and willing to adapt will just really help you with that mindset and that positivity, and then setting out and seeking new goals, new destinations for yourself and working toward that. With every single journey we walk in life, we meet new people, we learn new skills, we embrace new things, and all of those newness are opportunities and potential doors that can open. So I know for myself, and I've expressed that I feel like my life right now is a little bit chaotic. I have my very specific pageant goals, but like beyond that, where's this taking me? What happens next? Like I'm not super sure right now, but what I see is just hundreds of doors opening. So many new people that I'm meeting, skill sets, confidence, all these different things that I'm gaining from experience that really I can take and grab any of these. I'm feeling inspired every single day. I'm meeting somebody who does something cool, or they have a job and I'm like, I didn't even think about doing that job. Maybe I'll pursue that job, or I'll look into that. It's like every other day I'm like looking up new skills. Do I want to do that? And so knowing that's what life offers you every single day, if you're open to receiving that, if you're open to being flexible and adapting, if perhaps the course that you're on truly isn't the path for you for one reason or another. I did that. I had signed up. I was going to work on my master's, wanted a master's MBA, and I was going to specialize in finance. Why I chose finance over marketing in the first place, I have no idea who I was trying to be in that moment. I thought it'd be cool. My dad's a finance guy. Thought that maybe I'd be good at that. And I did many courses and classes to that, but it was just, I was in that path. I couldn't see where at the time it was going to take me. The classes were stressing the hell out of me. It was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't know why I'm doing this. I was like, I'm doing this because society tells me it would be cool if I had an MBA in finance, but I don't really want that. I don't know what I want with that. So you change course, change the path, right? Like those kind of moments and things, they come up. You think you want something and then you decide that it's not for you. I worked for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, now known as Breakthrough T1D. I was really convinced that I wanted to be the executive director of our local chapter. Like I thought that I would be really great at that. I thought that that's really what I wanted to be. After working in nonprofit for 6-7 years, I decided nonprofit is not the career for me. You change course, you change path. Giving yourself permission to really find what you are passionate about, what you do want to do, because every single moment, taking the MBA classes, working in nonprofit, there was so much I gained in those life experiences that are now applicable in what I'm doing in life and in other ways, and the connections that it gave me. So none of that is time wasted. There is so much that we can really appreciate from our journeys and apply when we do decide to change course. So being flexible and open to that. the journey, the path, the work toward our goals is not easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it. There's this clip that I want to play for you when it comes to big goals that somebody sent me on Instagram once. I really, really like it, and it really inspired me. And so I want to share it with you. It's from NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang. So they're a technology company. And I just really loved what he said here about setting your goals, working towards your goals, and achieving your goals. So let's end it here with this.
Reason why you choose something insanely hard to do, by the way, so that you have lots of time to go learn it. If something is insanely easy to do, like tic-tac-toe, I wouldn't, fuss over it. And the reason for that, obviously, is highly competitive. And so you got to choose something that's incredibly hard to do. That thing that's hard to do discourages a whole bunch of other, all by itself, because the person who's willing to suffer the longest wins. And so we choose things that are incredibly hard to do. People who can suffer are ultimately the ones that are the most successful. Number one. Number two, you should choose something that somehow you're destined to do. Either a set of qualities about your personality or your expertise, or you're somehow destined to do. And then number three, you better love working on that thing so much, because unless so, the pain and suffering is too great.
Boom. You better love that journey, my friends, because you're going to face setbacks. It's going to get tough, but you got to keep going, because if you can get through the tough moments, if you can get through the hard moments, you can make it happen. Don't be afraid of those setbacks, those failures, being open to growth, change, adapting, changing the path, changing the course. Have a great day, my friends. You deserve it.